Donald Trump is now the new leader of the United States. Democracy in action. But the Democrats and the liberal left don't like it.
What the hell? You cannot be serious. How did I wake up to this garbage as my president? That's right, garbage. I went to bed last night and she was ahead. I woke up to this freaking nightmare. Donald Trump? How? Does America have this many Nazi, Hitler following pieces of trash? I thought America was already great.
I think he was serious as well. People on the left like Emily Maitlis who simply couldn't handle it.
When Donald Trump talked about the eating cats and dogs, half of America was just thinking, this is bad. I can't believe what he's saying. This is going to be the end of him.
Stop swearing. And I will. I mean, I'll tell Emily off later, but because I know she started the swearing. But it may be the middle of the night in Britain, but they're still a little bit sensitive about that stuff.
Some people are trying to say that the Democrats lost because Kamala Harris is black or because she's a woman like Pablo Ohana on GB News yesterday.
This is, of course, the second time that America has rejected an overqualified woman.
No. It was because of moments like this.
My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
It's not funny, is it? And celebrities like Alec Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg, John Lennon, Chrissy Teigen, Rob Reiner, Barbara Streisand, Cher, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Megan Rapinoe, Tom Hanks, Amy Schumer, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Bill Gates, Jane Fonda, Madonna, Mark Ruffalo, Kim Kardashian, Bruce Springsteen, George Clooney, Hunter Biden and Oprah Winfrey. God. The left are obsessed with identity politics, and the people of the US have said no. And I suspect this rejection is coming to the UK. We don't want to be teaching issues relating to gender in our schools and appeasing confused young people going through puberty with whether their biology matches transient gender stereotypes. We are open-minded and most of us are liberal thinking, but we do not believe a man can become a woman or vice versa and pushing surgery on kids. I don't want critical race theories forced down my neck. Just because someone is black doesn't mean that they will support it. And if someone is an immigrant, it doesn't mean that they'll be happy with illegal migration. In fact, most immigrants jumped through legal hoops to get here. It's even more infuriating watching people being given handouts for breaking the law, especially if you didn't. My mother, she's furious with it. She goes, these people are coming here by dinghy, And then she sucks her teeth. I mean, the problem with the woke liberal elite, the hashtag Be Kind Brigade, is that there is an assumption that just because you're an ethnic minority or working class or gay or some other quality they believe belongs to their class, that you will immediately gravitate towards them.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Exactly. You see, their politics is based on identity, and that is a big mistake. If the left in this country continue with the politics of envy, distinguishing the public sector from the private sector, and with their NI hike and diving into state schools and dividing state schools from independent schools and black from white, Donald Trump not only won the political vote, he won the popular one as well. So no matter what colour you are, your sexual orientation or political class, people care about the economy. Money talks and BS walks. Well, I'm joined now by Labour activist and writer Aisha Ali-Khan. Aisha, welcome to the programme. Am I totally wrong? And if I am, why?
It's quite interesting, some of the points you raised. Obviously, so many people, it was a shock. Not many people were expecting Donald Trump to win. Even the polls themselves were saying that Kamala Harris was ahead. She was going to win. It was very tight initially, and then she surged ahead. So a lot of people are obviously understandably upset as well. But no, a lot of the things that people are saying about a lot of the reasons why people are upset at Trump's victories. It's just the fear and some of the things that he has said on the campaign trail, some of the things that his supporters have said, especially around women's rights and so on. Of course, we have no idea. We can't look into the future. We have no idea in the next few years, 4 years, what an America under Trump is going to be like the second time round. We can predict some of the things that he might do because we've seen him in action. But ultimately, a lot of people are worried and a lot of people are unhappy. And it just seems that American politics will be regressing, and by doing so, taking the rest of the world politics along with it.
You think it's a regression, though? Because, look, I suspect, and a lot of people suspected, that maybe the polls were slightly manipulated in a way, where we were all led to believe, or the people there were led to believe, that the thing was tighter than it really was when it wasn't. And, it does... Why? I always wonder why people think that it will be so bad under Trump, when under Joe Biden it's been a disaster, hasn't it, surely?
I think a lot of the things that we can definitely look at, the last 4 years under Biden. Yes, there've been a number of wars. Yes, we've had obviously the Ukraine and Russia war. We've got what's going on in Gaza and Israel right now, and now surrounding countries as well. This is a really worrying time, and as a Muslim myself, I'm appalled to see that America took a backseat. As far as we are concerned, as far as myself and other Muslims are concerned, America should have been a bit more firmer, a bit more stricter and stronger with Israel, and basically brought this horrendous conflict to an end a lot sooner. I think there's a lot of votes there that were lost. A lot of Arabs and Muslims just did not vote. They just refused to vote for Trump, and they refused to vote for Kamala as well. So we don't know. We don't know. There's still, obviously, it's not even a week. And it's not even a week yet we've had this election outcome. So there's still a massive post-mortem that's being carried out, and there's going to be more sort of fallout from what's happened. So, yeah, I think that with Trump in office, he has promised to end the wars. He has promised to sort of bring peace. And he is right. He does have a track record. When he was in office for the 4 years that he was in office, there were no new wars or conflicts that had started under his watch. But there was a lot of conflict within America. Let's not forget, when the election news was announced, how Trump reacted to it. He refused to accept the election news.
But that's not on him refusing to accept that vote. It's happened by many different parties. They're all often doing that. So that why they hyped that up to such a big deal. It's happened quite a few times with the Democrats as well. So that really wasn't the big deal.
I've got to say that Kamala, when she did eventually come out and give her speech the following day, she literally said, "We will have a peaceful transfer of power." And I think that was so important, because America is so divided right now, and there was a real risk of it kind of descending back to the violence that we saw.
I mean, look, he also won the popular vote, though, so it wasn't just the electoral college votes, it's the popular vote. So it seems that actually the people wanted him in, and it's turned out to be a bit of a landslide. But I notice you also said that America should have been harder on Israel. What do you mean by that?
Well, look, what's going on, it's just unacceptable. The people that have been bombed in Gaza, and now we're seeing almost daily attacks in Lebanon and the surrounding countries. We do not want a regional war. Nobody wants a regional war. We've been fighting for a ceasefire. We want the hostages home, okay? The hostages should have come home. They should never have been taken in the first place. And I've been saying
the whole October 7th was
it should
terrible.
never have happened. Absolutely should never have happened. And, I've said this on October the 7th last year, and I've been saying it subsequently. We need to bring the hostages home. We need to end the war. We need to stop the displacement of Palestinians. We need to stop this war effectively spreading and dragging other countries in. And Biden should have taken a stronger stance. He should have called Netanyahu and said, "What is going on? Yes, we know you're upset, but there has to be some kind of limit now."
That's true, but let's not forget that Hamas is still repeatedly firing rockets, and they were even before that date. So also in Lebanon, they then The Hezbollah then joined with Hamas on the 8th of October and started firing rockets into Israel as well. So those countries surrounding Israel also have to have a responsibility
But who
to
is
stop.
paying for, who is paying for
Let me just finish.
yeah.
Let me get to the end. Let me finish. My point is that those countries also have a responsibility to stop firing rockets too. I mean, it's not just Israel. It's all of those other countries around that are also coming out. I mean, Hamas need to stop firing the rockets, full stop.
No, apologies for interrupting you earlier.
That's all
You're
right.
absolutely right. Hezbollah is not a country. Hezbollah is not in charge of Lebanon. It's not the Lebanese government. Hamas is the elected government in Gaza, but they've not had proper elections for the last 2 cycles. So how many people can say that the current population in Gaza have voted for Hamas? Very few, because a lot of the population, they're children. 50-odd% of the population in Gaza are children. They've not voted. They've never voted for Hamas, and they don't want Hamas as their leaders, from what I understand. And
that's why I'm saying that the pressure should be on, more pressure on Hamas to stop. You know, I would like to see the pressure on Hamas. I'd like to see the pressure on Hezbollah.
But we also want to stop. Yeah, we also want to stop the mindless killing of children and women and hospitals and bombing of hospitals and so on.
Everyone wants to stop. But let's be clear. If Israel didn't have the Iron Dome, Israel would have been obliterated by now, and that would have been from Iran and all the other Hezbollah, Hamas, and all those people. So the only reason why Israel doesn't look like Gaza is because they have an Iron Dome. Because I think sometimes people forget that actually Israel are receiving bombs every single day. They are protected with the Iron Dome, and that's why it's not. That's why everyone's not dead.
I think we've got to point out, Nana. We've got to point out that the amount of weapons and bombs that have fallen on Gaza are hardly tiny. The bombs that Hamas and Hezbollah have been sending over to Israel, again, that's wrong. But the impact and the damage to buildings and the cost of human lives at the cost of the IDF bombs, which have been funded by ourselves in the UK and America, it's just the difference. You cannot even compare the two.
I think I can, because I think Israel are fighting on not just one front, but at least 4. So you've also got Iran. So let's not forget they tried to obliterate Israel, and they've tried that twice now with ballistic missiles, over 180 ballistic missiles, and so on and so forth. So I hear your I hear what you're saying. Nobody wants the bombs, but let's not forget.
I mean, I could say, look, Israel has gone out of, it's assassinated foreign leaders on foreign soil. There's so many things that all parties have done wrong. As far as I'm concerned, I am literally, you described me as a writer. I'm also a teacher, but I'm also a humanitarian as well. Yeah. I'm also a human rights campaigner, and I cannot bear to see people living in this situation, whether it's a Palestinian person, whether it's Israel. And I've been to Israel. I absolutely loved my visit to Israel. I have so many friends who are Israeli. I have so many friends who are Jewish, and obviously so many friends who are Palestinian and Arab as well. And nobody wants this war to continue. And I think we've kind of have digressed. We were talking about Trump's victory and so on. I now feel that maybe with Trump in office now, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Maybe he is the person to end this war, and maybe he is the person to bring a lasting peace in the Middle East, which is what so many people want.
Exactly. And Aisha, finally, I just want to get your thoughts on, very briefly, because we're going to talk about this, the pro-Palestine marches. Do you think that they should be banned on Armistice Day or Remembrance Sunday, just that one day? What do you think?
We had the same conversation last year as well, and I remember saying the same thing. Yeah, we did, that the marches had been rearranged, and so it had been arranged way in advance. And I think, look, last year we had the march, it went ahead, not a problem, very peacefully. But there are elements of people being concerned, elements within the march that might provoke and cause problems. And they do not represent the majority of people who want to march peacefully. And I have organised pro-Palestinian marches myself, and thankfully none of them have ever descended into any kind of violence. So I think, look, we live in the UK. My stock answer is this: we live in the UK. We have every right to protest, and as long as we do it peacefully and with respect. And look, as a history teacher as well, the Armistice Day is such a valuable, such an important day to remind the country of the sacrifices that soldiers made, not just the British soldiers, but the members of the Commonwealth as well. So I think we have to be respectful and mindful of the sacrifices that were made to keep this country the way it is today.
All right. Thank you very much, Aisha. Lovely to talk to you. Aisha Ali-Khan.